Hey y'all, it is Becca here at Becca's by the Bay, and a few things I forgot to mention in yesterday's Prepper Pantry baking dry goods storage video, and so I was just gonna briefly do kind of a quick little video on what I'm finishing up today. So um, I had our wheat berries from Jovial. They came in these, I think these are 5-pound bags. They have the Best By date says 5/11/23, and so I put these in our freezer for 3 days, and for the last day and a half, um, I've taken them out, and you want to let them fully dry. They'll sweat and be like wet all on the outside, so it's kind of good to put them on a towel and throughout the day just kind of flip them over to get rid of that condensation, and then you want to make sure these are bone dry before you Mylar package them. So what I've been doing is getting my 1-gallon Mylar bags and labeling them when I pack them and the Best By date. Now these will be better longer than that. So we've got our oxygen absorbers, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm just filling up these. So I did that with our wheat berries, and I think I did a video on this. I honestly don't remember. I've been kind of busy, so you just want to fill them up um, as much as you can. Tap out any extra space or air. Start sealing them from one side to the other, and squeeze out all the extra air, and finish sealing them all the way across. So these are reusable. They do have a section up here. These are heat sealable, so you can use like a flat iron or a impulse sealer. You don't necessarily have to unless you're doing it for like super long-term storage. We're going to be using these up, so I'm trying to see how long it'll take us to use through them. We had ordered 60 pounds of the wheat berries, so about 7 pounds fits in a gallon Mylar bag. And then I also have my all-purpose Jovial flour that I frozen for 3 days and then let thawed out and make sure it's nice and dry. So that one's going in my regular pantry because I needed some, and I packaged the rest up. So that was my last one there. And so these are the boxes. Instead of me using the 5-gallon buckets, I went with 17-gallon totes. These are the heavy duty totes from Lowe's. And so what I did here, I just labeled them whatever I had in here. I did put some bay leaves in here. But I've got and I need to probably redo a couple of labels up here. This is my gluten-free oatmeal. I can fit 4 pounds of oatmeal in a gallon-sized bag. I've got 8 pounds of cane sugar. And I think this was a smaller package. This was 28 ounces of the instant potato flakes. So I can fit 3, 6. I can fit at least 9 to 10 1-gallon Mylar bags in a 17-gallon tote, and put the cover on. And these are stackable, and they're not super heavy. I mean, they're heavier, I think, than I thought they would be, but all the smaller sizes were sold out, and the bigger size was too big. So I think it was 21 gallons or more for the next size up, and I just felt like that was just too big of a footprint, and it would be too heavy. So Wayland can move these around, and I've got 4 of them with different things in them, and I'm going to fix my label. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing, and I'm going to finish that up today. And so I know I was talking about our gluten-free dry storage, And there was a couple items that I forgot to mention. So I just happen to have this one on hand. It is a Keto Fit protein powder. I didn't really care for this one. It was Garden of Life, and then I tried the Slim Fast one from Walmart, and that one was really sweet. I didn't really care for that one either, so I ended up mixing them together, and I need to finish using them up. So this is like a meal replacement. So those are good to have on hand. And then this is not my favorite one of this grass-fed whey protein concentrate. This one's by NutriCost. So this was vanilla, and I think this one has stevia in it. Yeah, so this one has stevia in it. I didn't really care for the stevia kind of aftertaste that this one had. We like the IsoPure zero carb one that you can find on Amazon and at Walmart. And so we're trying to finish using this one up. So whatever protein powder y'all like, if it's like the Orgain or the pea protein or any one of those that you guys like, um, that's a good idea to have on hand because you can just mix it with water. You can mix it with evaporated milk or your almond milk or whatever you have on hand and have like an instant boost of energy and a meal if you're, just whatever on the go or any of that. So anyway, so this was part of my dry storage goods that is gluten-free, and I forgot to mention it. So I thought I'd pop on here, show you what I was up to today, and mention I think the last two items in my dry good baking, although this isn't baking, but is part of my dry good storage. So I hope you guys um, got some extra tips today. And that's it. I will probably finish this up and maybe do another video on our canned goods in the series that I'm doing. So I'm doing a series on prepper pantries and what you can stock in your gluten-free pantry, and just kind of showing you what we have and maybe give you some tips or ideas. And that's it. So let me know maybe, what did you find that worked for storage? Do you like the 5-gallon buckets with the gamma lids? This was actually a cheaper option to go with if you feel like that's out of your budget. And the 5-gallon buckets can be heavy, so I just didn't know how they would stack well. We have limited space here, and so we need to go vertical with everything that we do. And so I felt like if we bumped the buckets, they might fall over and crack. And so they're going, I think, depending on where you're getting them, I think you can buy them in bulk on Amazon. They're about $10 or more per gamma lid if you buy 6 or more. If you buy the white ones, and the buckets, depending on if you're buying them in bulk or not. I think it might have been $65 for 6 last time I looked. I know the prices are fluctuating. I have a few more items that haven't come in for our dry good baking series. It was actually powdered and dehydrated eggs. I got it from the Augustin Farms. I got the bulk um, rectangular. I think it's like 240 eggs in a bucket that are dehydrated and powdered. I ordered 2 of those, and so they're on their way. They haven't arrived, and I'm thinking that's the last item in my dry goods storage that I haven't posted about, or I know the prices are going up on the dry and powdered eggs. They went up overnight, some of them 50%, then they dropped down, so they're fluctuating on gouging the prices right now online in different areas for the powdered dehydrated eggs. There will be a shortage on eggs in general coming because the farmers are having a shortage on the feed, and they're having a shortage on fertilizers coming up in the future. So the prices are going to be going up on dry powdered eggs, and fresh eggs, if you've already noticed at the store, have definitely gone up in price. I think you could get like a 5 dozen. It was like 5 dozen for maybe $5 or $6 at the store, and the price last time I went was closer to $10. So that's almost double. And those weren't the cage-free extra nice eggs. Those were just like regular, you know, white eggs. And some of the other prices have gone up. I know natural grocers near us, their prices are fluctuating anywhere from like $4.50 to almost $8 a dozen. And those are really yummy eggs. And then there's some other ones at HEB and Walmart that are fluctuating somewhere around, I guess, $5 and up. More for, I think, the 18 count. So I'm not sure how much a dozen is because we don't usually buy a dozen. And we do have our own chickens that provide some eggs to us. So, but we do supplement with some extra eggs from the grocery stores from time to time. And I just felt like it was a really good idea to, um, and this was before Mr. B made the announcement about the shortages coming. I preemptively felt like I should have some in my pantry and felt called to place an order. God woke me up in the night and he said, Becca, you don't have this in your pantry. And it's an important protein item to have. So I placed that order a couple of weeks ago, but everything's getting delayed. I don't know about y'all, but we placed some orders for different things, and some of the things that we have delayed out was our grain mill is delayed 2 months, and there was a few other items I'm waiting to see when they'll show up. They said mid-April, end of April, possibly May. So I'm just kind of checking my emails every day to see if there's any updates on when things are shipping. I know the longer we wait and to order certain things, the longer it's going to take to get them in. And I just felt called to um, take stock of what we had and make some necessary purchases for the long haul. So I know if you haven't seen, I'm starting the series. I was starting to do our pepper pantry, and I was trying to get us stocked up for like 3 to 6 months. And then as 2020 was moving along, I realized, you know, maybe it's a good idea to kind of shoot for a goal for a year. And then I started looking at everything that was happening this year and following what's been going on. And I felt like my goal right now is to try to get us a 2 year stockpile of things to float us through what's going on. But whether I reach that goal or not is a whole other thing. But that's my goal. So I don't know what other people's goals are. If you've got a short-term goal, long-term goal, let me know. And I hope if you go check out the Asian markets, I haven't been in a while. I know we have like 5 here in the area. Let me know what the prices are, what you're seeing. Are their prices still affordable and reasonable? Are they still able to keep them low? Like everything used to be kind of like around $1 a pound, like $1 a pound of um, white rice pasta. All that stuff was like $1. So it was almost like a Asian dollar store, even though it wasn't an Asian dollar store. And they did have some really good prices on some of their fresh veggies and other canned items that were not necessarily name brand um, for our country, but they did have some really good pricing on a lot of things, close, just a few bucks. So if you are hitting up the Asian market, let me know what you're seeing in prices. And yeah, that's it. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for hanging out with me here at Becca's by the Bay, and we will see you in the next video in our series, which will be our canned goods of gluten-free items for making meals. Things that I've canned up, things that I bought canned, and kind of like any kind of packaged items that we've purchased, which isn't a whole lot because most of our stuff is made from scratch, which is why our dry goods was kind of a long pantry tour of all the different individual items. So I hope that was helpful to you guys who are trying to stock your pantries, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.